For the first time ever this weekend, St. Ignatius plays host to the annual Ohio Jesuit Tournament. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the St. Ignatius Broadcasting Network's Across the Table. Alongside Greg Zeiton, I'm John Fanta, and Greg, really exciting. We're covering all 6 games this weekend, 4 games on Saturday throughout the day and into the nightcap, and 2 on Sunday. Those will be at 1:30, 4 o'clock. We'll run down the schedule with you. We'll preview what you're going to see this weekend. All-Pro Freight Stadium, Greg. What a scene.
Yes, and like you said, John, this is the first time that St. Ignatius has been able to host this event because now we are able to play at such a fine facility in Avon, that being All-Pro Freight Stadium, and really everyone associated with the baseball program is excited about having this, especially Coach Brad Gaynor, but also even the administration and Father Murphy. We expect to be there. We know he's happy about it as well, so it's going to be a good 2 days of baseball.
Well, we begin by announcing the participants in this annual tournament, and it will be Walsh Jesuit, and that is a team that always comes out swinging. They are a very excellent baseball program. St. Xavier from Cincinnati, and the Wildcats have a very fun contest with them, the game under the lights. That'll be Saturday night at 8 o'clock. St. John's of Toledo, and that's a team that in the past has had much success in the OJT. So, along with the Wildcats, of course, so you look for the competition here to be at a very high level.
Oh, this tournament's almost always, one of the premier tournaments in the state, maybe even in the region, and this year's no different. The interesting thing about Walsh is, they're used to being so high up in the rankings that now they're, near the bottom of the top 20, and for them that's considered low. And when you look at it, the high school coaches poll, the last one, was released, and Walsh Jesuit was in that top 20. The other 3 teams in this tournament were all in the top 30 as well, so you've got 4 of the best teams in the state.
When you run down the schedule, we'll begin with you Saturday right here. We'll have an extended pregame. We'll start at 12:15 to preview this OJT. It will be St. John Jesuit and St. Ignatius to get the tournament started at 12:30. Following that game, and we'll just keep on rolling with you, it will be Walsh Jesuit and St. John Jesuit once again. That game will be at 3 o'clock. St. Xavier and the Bombers will be playing at 5:30 against Walsh Jesuit. And then finally, the game under the lights, St. Xavier will conclude their doubleheader with the Wildcats game at All-Pro Freight Stadium. And they put up the lights there in Avon as the Crushers, who will be beginning in a couple of weeks. They put them up to get ready for that game Saturday night. Certainly will be a lot of fun. This Wildcat baseball team is really a lot of fun to watch.
Yes, they are. They've been really on a roll ever since they got back from that South Carolina tournament, and even before that they were off to a good start as well. And you've got to look at the pitching and the defense have both been phenomenal. The pitching, what can you say? The starters have been good. All the guys coming out of the bullpen and relief have been good. And then the defense, infield, outfield, you name it, we've seen great plays. They don't hurt themselves with errors, and it's just been as solid as you could ask from a high school defense.
And what can you say about the pitching staff? It is tough at the high school level, Greg, to continuously be able to put a guy out there on the hill and have confidence in him, and Coach Brad Gaynor has had no issue with that.
No, he has not. Game by game, he's in almost every single game gotten a very good start from whoever it was. And the interesting thing is Zach Shockley, who, coming into the season looked like he'd be the ace. He really hasn't even gotten going yet, at least not to the level that we'd expect, and the pitching staff still fine. Zach's not doing badly, but, he can still improve more. And then you've got Matt Hoyer, Tom Roll, and some of the other starters just throwing phenomenally.
And it's certainly been a transition with the wooden bats. And when we talked to Brad Gaynor at the beginning of the season, he said, obviously, the strategy offensively is going to change, Greg, but in some ways, when you talk to some of the players, they say that it's increased their offensive knowledge with the bats. And when you have a lot of guys that are heading on to college to play college baseball, that's the role that you're in many times, to play that small ball and to get the runs in.
Yeah, and one of the things, like you said, they'll say that with the wooden bats, they don't get as many of the cheap hits that will just go far enough or just over an infielder's head or something like that, but that you have to actually be a better hitter to get those hits with the wooden bats. And the Wildcats offensively are a very unselfish team. Everyone's willing to bunt, to sacrifice a man over, and they've had some success doing that. They're not scoring quite as many runs as in the past, but the wooden bats are the main reason for that.
The Wildcats have this big one, 3 games in 2 days. They begin The OHSAA playoffs next Wednesday against Maple Heights. They are in the Strongsville district, and that'll be the first time that they're in the Strongsville district, and we will be able to carry the games after that Maple Heights game. We'll begin all our playoff action. We'll not carry next Wednesday, but after that we will carry throughout all the playoffs. And this team has the potential, Greg. You have to look at it. The components are there for this team to make a run.
Sure it is. When you look at playoff runs, it's all about the pitching and the defense. The Wildcats have 3 quality starters, and, well, even more than that, but 3 dominant starters. And really, when you look at it, sometimes you only need 2 to make a run in the playoffs. The Wildcats have an extra 1 to spare. The defense has been good, and the hitting is good enough, and that could still improve as well. So you got to like their chances heading into the postseason.
And a quick detail with the fact that at the younger levels, the JV team is 15-1, Greg, and the freshman team as well is well above 500. This is a team and a program that is emerging as well under Coach Brad Gaynor, and he's done such a nice job with this program. At JV team, we've seen a couple guys come up, of course, Nick Fabian and the likes of Marjavicius yesterday. Yes, the Marjavicius factor is what Coach Brad Gaynor calling it. This is a guy that came on yesterday, Greg, and in the 7th inning, struck out the side with some filthy stuff.
That was very impressive to watch.
You look at it, the Wildcats get ready for a big weekend ahead of them. Winding down this season, we've had quite a sports year, and you look to just keep it going. It's been a lot of fun to watch this baseball team.
That it has, and the other spring sports are doing very well as well. Volleyball off to a great start. They'll start their playoff run. Lacrosse is, really tearing up their schedule. Even track and field's having a lot of success at their tournaments. And crew, as always, in the Midwests and probably nationals as well. So a lot of spring sports. And just to reiterate, with the Ohio Jesuit tournament, we will cover every game on the SIB, and not just the ones with the Wildcats, but all 6 games, 4 on Saturday and then 2 on Sunday.
We'll have a cast of thousands, you could say, along on Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, by the way, afternoon games, 1:30, it will be St. John Jesuit and St. Xavier, and then at 4 o'clock, the muchly anticipated matchup between Walsh Jesuit and St. Ignatius. This is a great way to prepare for the postseason.
That it is, and even the first 2 games of that series may not be as hyped up for the Wildcats, but those will be a great test to get them ready for Walsh Jesuit, and we'll have you covered, and they should be some very good baseball games.
We'll be there 10-plus hours. We may sleep overnight at All Pro Freight Stadium if we have to, because it could be a long run. We'll be there with you for all of it. We will see you Saturday and Sunday on the SIBN. Live video from All Pro Freight Stadium at the Ohio Jesuit Tournament. 4 great baseball teams. Get ready for 6 great games, everybody. We'll see you then.